Music station. You're hanging out with the Delon Yango and Shafi, where we're at 8:12. We call this Breakfast with the Stars, and the star that we have in studio today, first and foremost, just walking into the studio, everybody who met him was trying to change their accent. We met Churchill. He's like, how you doing, man? How you doing? Because our guest is repping for the 254 all the way in Atlanta. We have DJ Fullyfocus live in studio.
Yes.
How you doing, man? No, I'm playing. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, man. I'm doing excellent. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's like, hey, this accent, me, I've never had it.
No, the funny thing is, I think when Churchill first came to the States, we were one of the first people who brought him out there. Like this, like years ago. So, it's so good to see him progress over the years. And do that,
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so over 14 years of experience as a DJ. You've been on radio. You have your own festival going on. You have been very, very important in terms of taking Afrobeats to the world. What?
Yeah, I mean,
I was actually just telling Shafi before we go. She was like, this guy, he's done a lot.
He's an OG, man.
Yeah. So let's start off 14 years ago.
Correct.
So why DJing?
Why DJ? I always had a passion for music. I think I enjoyed the idea of kind of like the control that a DJ has with the people and how you make people feel.
Yeah.
So I was always curious about it, and then I started, kind of slowly working towards it. And the funny enough, the way I learned how to DJ is by listening to other DJs. I didn't necessarily have somebody teach me how to do it.
What?
It was just listening. I was like, oh, okay, so this is how you mix. This is how you do it. And then as I got into it, I've always been a very, no pun intended, focused person.
Yeah.
Right?
So fully focused.
Yeah, but I took it very seriously.
Yeah.
And I started, working out, and then I started doing college radio, then mainstream radio, then doing from pay cut gigs to just progressing. But I always wanted something more. I always wanted more and more and more.
How do we take it to the next level? But I know what normally happens, especially if you're in a typical Kenyan home or African home, is when you come home, and we have had this conversation with some of the DJs who are even based here. I can Krem, I think, was taken to school to study. What does he say? Something serious, like seen as serious by parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you come home and you're like, me, by the way, I'm going to be a DJ.
Yeah.
And yes, we may understand it to be a proper career.
Right.
But obviously, like, our folks are just like, ate what?
Yeah.
So how was that situation for you?
Actually, it's a funny story because, first of all, like, at that time, when you say 14 years, like 2003. So DJ now is a very popular thing. It's very profitable and everything. But back then, there weren't necessarily other, big, DJs, not as many per se.
Yeah.
So I was actually, I'm going to date myself, but I was actually in college and I was working, and I was doing it. I was working, and all these opportunities came. Yeah. And I had to pick and choose because, you don't get to, sometimes you don't get, the same opportunity twice. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to go for this. So I actually dropped out of college. Yeah. And I quit my job. And I said, I'm going to do this full time. Yeah. So I had a conversation with my mother. Right? Who's a teacher, by the way.
Oh, my God.
And everybody, I'm the last born. Everybody in my family has graduated and everything. So I'm telling her, this is what I'm going to do. And in Cuke, basically, she said, are you on drugs? Right? She's like, no, you're smoking. There's no way you're serious about this. But by the end of that conversation, she kind of gave me her blessing because, like, it's your life. Yeah. Whatever. I
mean, if you're here alive and you're telling us this story, it means it didn't go to Bali.
But I doubt it was her blessing. Yeah. I mean, it's your life. No, that's not a blessing.
My mom used to say this thing, Aisuru or something like that. Like, yeah, something like that. And when you hear that, you're just like,
you have to think about it. It better work.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about that is actually good because it forced me to be like, this thing has to work. Yeah. There's no plan B. This is it.
I ain't coming back.
And if I have to have that conversation with this woman again, I won't be alive.
And it's funny because like a year later, like things weren't going good. And I got evicted. I was sleeping on somebody's floor at that time.
What?
Like, I didn't have a car. I have no bank account, nothing. Yeah. And that's when the hard reality of, if this is what you're going to do, understand, because now you can't go back.
Yeah.
And so at that point is when I said, okay, fine. Now I have to work 6 to 9 months ahead of time. Mm-hmm. It's not the same way when you have a job and you're waiting for something.
Yeah.
So you always have to be grinding extra because nobody's there to look out for you.
And the bills are still there.
The bills.
However, we're going to get into DJ Fullyfocus's journey a little more in the next 4 minutes. But if you're listening and you have any questions for him, do send those our way on Twitter at Kiss100Kenya.
Please inform me.
Yeah.
Get with the program.
However, guys, this song is playing right here on Kiss FM as you hang out with me, Adele Onyango and Shafi Baru. And of course, we have DJ Fullyfocus live in studio with us, telling us about his journey into DJing over 14 years. You've worked with like huge names like Major Lazer and we're going to get to
Akon.
that. Yeah.
Yes, they've actually run a business together.
Hey.
That's why you can afford to come to Kenya every weekend. Like technically, Fullyfocus is not I can't call him Msoa Diaspora.
Yeah.
He's a typical Kenyan.
So way true.
Yeah, every month I get a call. Yo, bro, what's going on? I'm like, the accent is back. He's here. But there are guys now, the guys you're talking about, the guys always texting you.
Yeah.
I want to go once in a blue moon.
How to save.
Like blue moon vodka.
However, guys, listen. So what I want to know is, yes, you've told your mom that this is what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. You're not feeling what you're studying in uni and you really are going to make it work.
Yeah.
And then you start DJing and then you realize, this thing sometimes brokenness is real.
Yeah,
so what was like your lowest point in the beginning years?
I would definitely say it was one time I was on my one of my friend on his floor. I was sleeping on his floor for a couple of months. And all I had was this black duffel bag.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was a trash can bag that had all my clothes in it. And I had my computer. At that time, I didn't even have a laptop. It was like a
proper
desktop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a desktop and a bag full of clothes and a blanket on the floor. And I'm eating noodle soup, and that was all I could have. And tomato soup. That's all I could afford for a while. And I remember thinking, is this really it? But here's the thing. This is why they say, in order for you to make it in any business, you do have to be passionate about it. Because the truth is, if I really wanted, I could have gone and get a regular job and just, to maintain some sort of living.
Yeah.
But I was like, listen, this is what I want to do, with my entire life.
Yeah.
I have to dive all the way. And if it means this is what it is, then I have to, whatever I have to do to make sure that I get to the point I need to, then whatever's got to be done, got to be done.
Yeah.
So it was like I said, that's what clicked into. I have to grind so hard to make sure I'm never in this position again. Yeah,
I always say it's always good to go through those moments because then it's like a wake up call. Like, hey, we are not coming back here again.
Yeah. And to some extent, you may also kind of look at it as failure because I tried to do something and didn't work.
Yeah.
And at first, it took me a while to understand that failure is really. It's not separate from success. It's not an option. It's part of the process. Anybody who makes it. It's like you can't be afraid to fail. You have to fail in order to get whatever you need to do to be on the right path. So once I embraced failure, then nothing could really stop me from making mistakes because I'm like, look, I've been on the floor. Like, you can't tell me nothing, okay?
With my trash bag, my desktop.
Okay, so you can't tell me anything.
Yeah. So, but now I want to know about how you hook up with these major names. So before, let's start with Akon.
Yes.
So you are business partners with him.
Correct.
Okay. How did that even begin happening? Because it's not like you can just walk down the street and bump into Akon.
Yeah. So it's funny because when I started the radio show, it was like 2004. I was in college.
Yeah.
A college radio show. And a friend of mine was like promoter. I was living in Kentucky at that time. He was like, yo, there's this guy who you have to interview on the phone. He has a new single, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and also he's from Africa.
Yeah.
He's like, you Africans, right?
You know each other. Maybe it's your neighbor.
Yeah. So I could have taken offense to that.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I'll support him.
Yeah.
And so at that time it was Akon with Locked Up. He had just come out.
Wow.
So I did like an interview with him and whatever, supported it. And then we kept in contact for a very short while. But here's the funny thing, and I don't mean to get too much into this business, but so he was like, look, get me a couple of shows, and then, whatever I make, whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay, I get him show on one price. You know, at that time it was like $9,000 or something like that. All right, cool. I get him. 3 months later, the show, the song is radio on 106 in Park at that time. Whatever. I'm like, yo, I got you another show. He's like, bruh, the price changed. So now it's like 20. I was like, damn, okay, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I come back like a few weeks later. I get him another show. It's like, actually now the thing, because now it's on, it's going higher now. So by the 4th time I'm trying to get him, the number has changed.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even the same phone number. I was like, okay. So we lost contact completely. And I understand, because, like, I mean, when things take off,
they take off.
They take
off, you know? And so, anyway, so we completely lost touch. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago, I'm randomly playing at this club in Atlanta. And he walks in and he's doing this thing. And so I started playing some of his old classic records. And he was like, yo, who's that? Who's a DJ or whatever? So after that, I got off, we spoke and we exchanged numbers and then caught up and everything. Then about 2 weeks later, he hit me up. At that point, I had just come out with the first Major Lazer mixtape that I had. And he was really trying to, do some things with the Afrobeat. He was doing a song with D'banj at that time. So once he listened to it, he was like, yo, we definitely have to link. And he gave me the song and I broke it. Then later on, when I decided to do the music festival in Atlanta, PXP, I called him so that he could be the host of it. And the park that I got was a park that nobody gets. It's like the Central Park of Atlanta, So it's a very prestigious park. And so he said, okay. He's like, I've always wanted to do an international music festival, but I can't do it. I'm an artist. I'm too busy. So I'm glad you get to do it. So we did it. It was a major success. After that, he said, I want to be a part of this, and I want to help you grow with it. So we were able to work it out. And it's funny, at that time also, this guy called Shaka Zulu, who's Ludacris's manager and co-founder of DTP, also came there. And I've known him, I'd seen him on and off for a few years. And even he was like, yo, this thing is incredible. I want to be a part of this. So we formed a joint venture between myself, Akon, and Shaka to just, kind of help it grow. And ever since then, we've done smaller versions of it in Los Angeles, in New York, and in South by Southwest.
What? Guys, from sleeping on the floor. What? And then he's just dropping Major Laser's name
casually.
Breakfast with the Stars, and we do have DJ Fullyfocus in studio with us. He is going to be telling us this time around, as Shafi has said that you're here quite often, but he's like, this time around, what are you doing in the 254? But another thing that I wanted to know, from when he walks into the studio, is how is Kenyan music faring in Atlanta? How's that going?
It's all right. I will have to say it's okay. There's not too many artists that are really popping. I would say Sauti Sol and Yashinsky are the ones who are really kind of standing out. Then you'll hear 1, 2, 3 songs here and there, but nothing's really lasting the way things used to be before with, when you had, the whole Ogopa movement or the whole Caliph movement and everything. So it wasn't that much. And I know, it's a question of why. Why do you think that?
So that we can be like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's fix what's not working.
It's such a long story, but I'll make it short. I think that it's understanding what drives music. Production is what drives music.
Okay.
And if we give an example, let's say hip hop, for instance. In the 90s, the whole death row movement was led by Dr. Dre. Bad Boy was the Hitman producers. So Def was Jermaine Dupri. Cash Money, Manny Fresh. Swiss Beats for Rough Riders.
Caliph.
You know what I mean? Caliph. Ogopa, Musioka. You understand? So it's like
Ogopa was Luki.
I mean, sorry, Luki. Yeah. Sorry,
Homeboys was Musioka.
No, sorry, Homeboys. Yeah, exactly. But you notice that the producers are the ones who kind of, even again, Rockefeller, Kanye West, Just Blaze. The producers are the ones who lead the sound, because it's all about the sound that's gonna make people feel. The artists kind of come afterwards. You know what I mean? And so I think maybe there may have been a mistake where maybe artists started feeling that we run this, but the reality is the producers are the ones who lead the sound.
Look at the sound right now. Sedo,
exactly.
Pacho.
Now
the producers. It's Rabdamu and Sedo who are now running the industry.
Remember the bunch of hits we had a year ago, straight from Natukotu Pacho was
and then the artist is talking about Yashinsky, is talking about Sauti Sol.
Yeah.
All the music that people in the States are listening to right now is produced by Sedo.
Sedo.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, we have Bien and Savara who try their hand in producing, but the sound, the one song that everyone remembers from Sorry Soul or Nyash, the sound has been produced by
Sedo.
Absolutely. So it's the production then. And once you, and even like I said, if we look at in Nigeria right now, right, you have Techno, who's been an amazing, producer.
Yeah.
Davido's first, the song that really now took him, it was by Techno. You have Sheezy, you have Young John, you have Kid Dominant, you have all these producers who are, or even in South Africa, you have Maforisa. Uhuru, everything by Uhuru was by Maforisa.
Yeah.
You understand? So it really drives the sound of it. And once I think the industry here, it's important to understand the respect of the different, parts of the industry.
Yeah.
Artists are a good part of it, but it's more than just artists. You have producers. Then you have the tastemakers, the DJs, the radio, the club DJs and everything, the bloggers. So it's understanding what each part plays and how to have respect for that. You can't
and
be
everybody sticks.
Yeah. And stick to your lane.
Yeah.
Do your thing. Be the best at it, but have that respect and understand, okay, this is what we need to do to preserve and, to keep things going. I just came back from Uganda and it was like, there's this kid over there, Nassim, amazing producer. He's just trying, all the kids that have come out there, this scene is doing incredible out there, and again, same thing you see even if you go to Tanzania, Wasafi. It's all about that. So I think if maybe, once we restructure things from that angle, you'll see more, Yeah,
I think that there's something there because also, Nareel.
Yeah, we lost the plot in the 254 because, the artist became everything.
Yeah.
And then the music now got confused. It got lost in the hype.
Yeah. I guarantee you when that changes, then when that structure changes, you'll see a completely different thing.
Okay. You shout out to Ephraim Remy, who's just like, shout out to DJ Fullyfocus. A big shout out also to my brother-in-law, Richard, who's saying you absolutely killed it at K1 yesterday. Richard, Sunday.
Your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law.
This is what we call a festive season.
And then in December, I would say
you can comfortably say your brother-in-law's name and the boss will not call
No, that's
him.
why I haven't said both names. Richie, I got
Trust
you.
me, they both can put 2 and 2 together. Adele Onyango, brother-in-law. Richard Onyango.
However, so we're hanging out with DJ Fullyfocus in studio. So I want to know 2 things: what you're working on in the 254, because I know there's definitely something that's watching here. And Major Lazer, how did you connect with them?
Right. So shout out to your brother-in-law, okay, and everybody who was there last night. Just came when it was crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm actually here because I am doing an East Africa tour.
Dope.
So I did Uganda 2 nights, then Nairobi just did 4. Like I landed on Thursday and I've been playing every night since then. I left K1 at 5 in the morning, so I'm here.
You'd
right
have just come, you stopped the show.
I know, right? I had to go shower and change. It was crazy. So then after this coming weekend, I'll be playing in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Then Rwanda, then Ethiopia.
What?
So it's a whole East African tour.
That's
all
sick.
over the place.
That's sick.
Yes.
We wish you all the best with that. That's absolutely fantastic. And then obviously you did a project with Major Lazer.
I actually have 2 projects with them, 2 mixtapes, both for Afrobeat. The whole purpose of it was just to showcase Afrobeat to the rest of the world on a mainstream platform.
Yeah.
Because they have a big platform. And, funny, same thing. The relationship started years ago with Walshy Fire, who at that time was with Black Chiney. It was like 7-8 years ago. I started booking him for, some of my events. And by the time he joined Major Lazer, the relationship continued. Then I met Diplo in 2013 when I was co-managing Timaya at that time. So I took him to Trinidad. I just put Timaya together with Sean Paul for the Bum Bum remix.
Yeah.
Then I took him to Trinidad to perform for Carnival, and that's when I met Diplo, because we're all on the same show.
Yeah.
And we also built some relationship from there. And whether it's Major Lazer or Akon, all these different people, or like I was telling, even with guys like Wizkid, who kind of put him on radio at first early in Atlanta.
Yeah.
The basis of everything is investing in relationships from early, not waiting till people have popped to start trying to be with them. It's just you see the potential in people from early, and you say, hey,
support them.
You support them while they're not where you would consider them to be. And from then on, the relationship grows. So I speak, and that's why almost all my relationships have been built like that. So even like guys like let's say the hot guys who are right now, like Mr. Easy or Techno. These are guys, or Pato. These are people who we text all the time, because a year plus ago, when they were just, okay, I was, pushing their stuff and helping them with this thing, whatever. And now when they're big, that relationship continues.
It still goes.
So that's the same thing, like I said, with Major Lazer. And shout out to Diplo. They had me on their show in Miami about last month. It was a Major Lazer kind of festival for a relief event for the hurricane in Puerto Rico. Yeah. So it was them and Tory Lanez and Conscience and Terrace Riley. So it was a fun event. I was the only African there on the bill. So
representing. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Only Kenya.
Yeah, let's be clear. Be clear.
Tory Lanez technically is Kenya.
I know, right?
The father relocated. Yeah, we all said him here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So officially, okay.
Equally Kenya. From the 254.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure you follow DJ Fullyfocus on Twitter. We've posted up his handle. It's at Fullyfocus. Yes. And on Instagram
at Fullyfocus.
Facebook.
Fullyfocus DJ.
Okay, so make sure you follow him so that you can learn more about his journey and see where he's going to be popping up next, so that you can enjoy, like my brother-in-law, when he's next in your area code. But we thank you for coming through and speaking so much wisdom to Team Adele and Team Shafi.